in Dubai. Shaw won 15-14. 2 days later, he travelled down to Vergara's home base in Abu Dhabi, and Vergara beat him 15-14. So that's how good Harry Vergara is, even though he's got no great tournament record to speak of.
Yeah, and I saw Jason prior to this match, and I think Vergara, he had mentioned, had beaten SVB a couple times before this last one here today to get to that final 8.
Yeah, it's true in challenge matches. Okay, so Shaw wins the lag. Let's see if he can make a flying start.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I'm not sure why. One thing that's a little different that I saw from Copini, and it's really a little more like Jason at times we've seen in the past. You know, he won that match today against Al-Qaeda and made a nice comeback, but I never saw so much frustration or showing so much frustration from a Copini before. He's going to feel better about that comeback, but I'm not sure what it was. Something in the air, I think.
Yeah, and I think you touched on it right at the start of our broadcast, Jeremy, when you were saying about Jason Shaw not being characteristic this week. He's been doing that kind of thing right from his very first match. Now, obviously, as defending champion, he got things underway. 10 o'clock on Tuesday morning, he played a local amateur, Win Dat Phi, and there was no larking around, no liberties taken. Right from the get-go, he was all business.
Yeah, absolutely, and we saw that again against Wang yesterday. You know, I think he kind of recognized some advantage against Wang, you may say, trying to tie up the 7-8 and just concede ball in hand there. That's how difficult the hit and how good the safety was to open from Shaw. Drifting towards the brown for the combination on the 8. Could come a little closer to that 9 than I suspected, though.
I'll tell you one thing, we don't know whether he's going to win the match, but he certainly wins the popularity contest here. Fedor-Gorst, immensely popular in these parts. Of course, all of the Vietnamese players too. But I think this year, top of the pops is Jason Shaw.
Yeah, and talking about that this table hasn't been used all week. This is really just the third match, and they've all been today. To, you know, reflect a bit more about Jason. He's really good on the new felt. Really, really good. It's got to go a little bit. I think he just got there. It is very close. Well, he doesn't seem too upset about it. Oh no, he's snookered for sure. So he's going to try and draw this back into the 9. I think that's what he was measuring up. Of course, the other match going on, Claudio Cacci and Johan Chua. A little worried about Johan in that one. Only reason being he didn't get much fired at by Ignacio in that first match here in the final 16. Look at here.
Hear the roar of the Hanoi faithful. They were loving that one. It was a jump, it was a deep screw, it was a perfect contact on the 9. Jason Shaw, a spectacular Scot.
And he recognized it right away. Really playing the 9 more than anything. I think he ignored the 3 a bit.
Jeremy, of course, is absolutely right. Chua will face more resistance there than he did against Ignacio.
And quite the opposite as far as Claudio was in a real fight against Aranis, so gaining all kinds of experience. Look at the 9 here. I think there's 9-ball action here as well. I really don't think the 6 is too much in the way. Actually, not in the way at all. Now, the one thing is, if you do shoot it, you got to put some speed on it. You can't let this kind of lay up for a combination for Copigny.
Jason Shaw nails another. This crowd loving it. The defending champion loving it. But Copigny most certainly isn't loving it, because very quickly he trails 3-0.
Okay, Australia, if not the greatest country in the world, one of the greatest countries in the world, we love it here. But we do have one national disgrace that needs to be cleaned up.
Yeah, it's a big issue.
It's a massive issue.
Dividing states.
And it's something that since the National Referendum Federation, whatever you call it, 1901.
The National Referendum, the government.
We haven't been able to figure it out as a country, and we're here to figure it out. Why does each of the states have such different beer sizes?
And names for them.
And names that are the same thing but different sizes.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like a pint, a midi, a skewy, they can mean different things. I think we need to come together and just work it out, and we'll send it to Canberra.
Yep.
And we'll go, can you just, this is what they should be now. Can you just go get this cleaned up?
National standardised measurements. So let's just start with some of the more bizarre differences between states. I'm from Queensland, and I would argue that this is the perfect measurement scale. So you start with a pot, which in, New South Wales, ACT, just looking at it here.
Pot.
WA, they're called middies. I don't
Victoria,
like that.
they're called a pot.
I don't like that. I think they should be called a pot.
285 mils, right?
Yes.
4 of them in a jug.
10 ounces.
2 of them in a pint.
That should be called a pot. So Queensland has a pot, and then you have a schooner.
So that's 425. That's
425.
halfway between pot, and I'm hoping the next thing you say is pint.
Then a pint.
I'm not going to be able to argue on this. Yeah.
And then a jug.
And then a jug.
That's Queensland. I argue that that's how it should be.
Now, what's the first one, pot or midi?
Pot.
Pot, great.
So New South Wales is the exact same, but instead of a pot, they have a midi.
So what's that in the middle of then? That's my question. A midi, if you were calling a schooner a midi, I'd understand.
Yes, but they're not.
Okay. So
that's a bit. Victoria also has the same measurements as Queensland, but it's very hard to get a schooner here. But that's another.
Oh, it's
debate.
increasing.
It is increasing.
It is increasing.
That's another debate for a bit later on. Western Australia, they're the same as New South Wales, so they have the midi instead of a pot, but they have schooner and pint. South Australia,
they're off their heads.
They are off their heads. So they start with, instead of a pot or a midi, they call that a schooner.
No, they don't.
They call that a schooner. And then a schooner-sized beer, they call a pint. And then a pint is an imperial pint.
Okay, so no. Okay, so first thing, so pint is a measurement. So that is an imperial measurement.
Yeah.
So you can't just go, oh, well, it's like saying, oh, can I have a litre of cola in Super Troopers? Can I have a litre of beer? And they go, here's a litre. And I go, well, hang on, that's 700 mils. Yeah, but that's what we call a litre. And then this is a metric litre.
Yes.
And that's 100 mils.
Yes.
1,000 mils, sorry. It's ridiculous.
It is
you can't
absurd.
Okay, so they're wrong. That's the first thing. Secondly, you can't call something a midi if it's not in the middle of anything.
Yeah, I agree with that. So therefore, scrap that word entirely and we just call it a pot.
We agree on this. It is pot, schooner, or is
pint.
midi a better name for... No, because it's screwy.
Pot,
schooner, pint, jug, obviously.
So that's the four, right?
And the other thing is you need to bring back the pony, which is like 140 mil. It's
so smaller than a pot.
Yeah.
Now, who wants that though? You go up to the beer every 2 minutes, to the bar every 2 minutes.
Good in Darwin, good in northern Queensland.
It gets so hot up there.
It's so hot. So that's the next question. What's the perfect size?
Oh, okay. So again, maybe biased, but Sydney and Brisbane, you go to the bar, you're rarely getting pints unless there's like some special or happy hour special.
You're
getting a schooner because they stay cold. It's only...
They're a bit big, aren't they? They're up there for you guys. They're a bit big there. We're getting a schooner of mid-strength. No, we'll just have a pint of draft, thanks, mate, down here. So we're a bit different.
It's just, a pint is just too, I feel worse.
That's a good look at what may have not went on one of the outer tables. That 5-ball there, catching some of the long rail. Got to pay attention to this one as well. He needs some draw. All right. Did he get enough to where he can get to the side rail here easily? Yeah, I thought this was awkward. Thought he needed a few more inches, especially if he's going to rest on a rail. Now he may have to float this a bit and maybe even cheat the pocket. And those pockets are very small in the middle. Oh, now he's going to try and avoid the scratch by a lot of speed. Watch outside pocket. He's going to land on these balls. And the only place he could get snookered, right behind the 9. Well,
one more revolution of the cue ball, he's fine.
yeah, and maybe just overlooked what he really needed on that brown 7 when he shot the green 6. Trying to get that ball in the middle. Could get a little funny. It sure did.
Maybe a little bit of gamesmanship there, putting the hand up to apologise to Ko as if to say this is a tricky one. Mind you, Ko knows that anyway.
Yeah, he's going to kick at this 2 cushions. I think 2. He may go 1. Really can't fault either direction, 1 or 2 cushions. This looks like a little inside of it. Yeah. And, you know, you want to keep accuracy on that kick, but I kind of like putting a little more speed. Maybe you get a little fortunate if you miss.
It's no go for Ko so far.
You know, I was asking him, you know, what about snooker? And he's like, well, I realized I had to change my stroke for pool, or commit to a stroke for pool, and he's done so. And there's interesting little technique things that he's very aware of at such a young age. Now, if we see that break again, you'll kind of see the 9 push out of the rack a little bit. And these art templates and these referees have been awesome, but occasionally they miss it a little bit. And when the 9 pushes straight out of the back of the rack, that usually means something wasn't quite froze. Now, can he get at this? I think he can. And I'm talking about the potting angle to the top right. Got to really control some speed coming 1 rail down. Now, can he swing this 2 rails for a 2-9 combination? Not the worst choice. Okay, important shot there for Kopi and Yi.
The 9 to complete a much needed rack for Kopi and Yi. A little belatedly, yes, but at least he's off the mark.
Someone putting some racks together. First time I've seen someone today break from that side of the box on this table. It's been pretty much the left side of the box, the player's left, that is.
So consecutive dry breaks.
Yeah, I don't think that had much to do with the rack, where I think Jason's may have had a little something to do with the rack. No 9-ball movement there. Jason should be pretty comfortable applying the inside here. Maybe he's just trying to go above and take the cut. Yeah, I was going to say the inside shouldn't have been a problem.
This version of Jason Shaw seen patience as a virtue.
Yeah, it's so hard for any player to not want to bank that ball, especially after you're the person who didn't get the position. But when you're so talented, you know, tactically, you can become as good as anyone because he's got such good touch. So all the standard kind of safeties, you know, pretty routine ones that we all play, you know, those kind of protect themselves. But the other ones, like the one he just exhibited right there, are he let up on that one, Phil. And it was, I think last year, maybe the year before, that was like the only flaw in Jason every now and again with the draw stroke. He seemed to have a little bit of deceleration at times, or maybe just not thoroughly getting through the ball.
Does he look for redemption through positivity, or does that patience remain?
Well, I think you got to edge this and run into the corner where his chalk is on the lower left. Just edge it over there on the rail. Keep it simple. Let it broaden a little bit. He's going to try and get the 6-up table, which I understand. And that's good stuff. Good speed on the object ball.
He's got such a youthful face and demeanour, Copigny. Not quite a veteran, I think that would be an exaggeration, but he's a seasoned pro. Turned 35 earlier this year.
Yeah, this is bankable, even though it's easy to get a double kiss, but he may try to cut this a little with a high ball, put the 6 below the 9, maybe? Yeah, like that. That's kind of the shot I saw. He wanted to cut a little more. He's worried about the cue ball running, but with the high ball and the newer felt, it'll usually kind of maintain up table.
Now, this has always been one of Shaw's strengths, this kind of shot. You see him float this ball in with great ease. There's something aesthetically pleasing about a left-hander, and Shaw definitely falls into that aesthetically pleasing category. He will be pleased, very pleased.
Guys, did you know that you can potentially make a full-time income online without ever starting a business and using just one app on your phone or laptop? Let me explain. In 2024, there are now companies that regular people like you and I can partner with. We get paid like a job, but we just work from our phone or laptop from anywhere in the world. Forbes and Google have said that this industry is a new digital gold rush. They featured this specific company in the Digital Heroes list of 2023. It's a small list of companies that are
Somewhat equated to as maybe different lies on the golf course for the golf ball, which those players, I think, simulate a little better than even the stuff with the pool. Really good stuff here. He wants the 3 to get to the rail, though. That way he doesn't need some type of jump over the side.
I think the interesting dynamic here is that Shaw, who's a real student of the game, he knows everything that's going on. He will be aware that Copigny in his last 2 matches has produced 2 really good comebacks. So he'll be delighted with that to prevent a build-up of momentum.
Yeah, and there's that big pocket on the green 6 I was talking about. That's why I thought Copigny may shoot at a few of those 3 balls, the cut earlier and then the bank. And he slid it in. And you can see right there the pocket playing a little easier than it has all week. Now, he didn't think about the slick table. It opened up on him.
That will really hurt. He knows that was a loose error.
There's got to be a safety. There's no apparent pocket. And again, really good speed and control with not only the cue ball, but the object ball also.
And with the laws in place, he had to hit a cushion with the cue ball or the object ball after that shot, and it was fine tolerances.
He's got to draw this a little bit. You'll see it hook. He's trying to get underneath it like that. He's going to get a little fortune, I think. Now the lefty will be able to reach the jump. We've seen some special jumps from him already.
Yeah, in the upper bracket of jumpers, isn't he?
Well, especially when the heat's on. I mean, that's what I talk about, like Skyler. I don't know if he's, all the time, but it seems like when they're needed, he seems to bury him along with Eagle Eye. Pocket size and the break rule, and not only that, just the heat of your opponent, knowing a mistake can be so costly. Just really impressive stuff. Jason giving the crowd a little fun there. He gave a little ooh and ah, and he gave a little look back.
He's a Scotsman and a showman.
Well, it just kind of tells you where he's at, and not only that, tells you that he likes where he's at here in Vietnam, to be able to have a little fun with the crowd.
He doesn't like that. That was one of the most ridiculous, ludicrous, extraordinary, whatever word you like to apply to it, misses of the entire tournament. That's got to be a lapse of concentration, Jeremy.
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of feel like he didn't go through his normal process there. And again, we talked about it earlier. The draw stroke, had been what I feel like a year and a half, 2 years since I really have seen an issue with that with Jason. But now it's been a couple times here in this match.
Well, twice in 3 racks, Ko Pin-Yi has been handed a lifeline. Short scratch from nowhere in the 8th rack, but his miss on the 8th there. That was unforgivable. Years of experience caused Jeremy to predict precisely this. Rack 10 was gifted to Ko Pin-Yi, and you just sensed when he broke off good things would happen, and they most certainly did. He's now leading the cheers, Ko Pin-Yi. Remember, at his lowest ebb, he was 5-1 down. He still trails, but only 6-5.
Now, these strategies to reduce taxes through property, there are three main areas. The first is how you structure your portfolio. Do you buy in a trust? What type of trust do you get? Is it a unit trust? Is it a family trust? Do you buy through your self-managed super fund? Do you not do that? Do you buy in your personal name? Do you purchase through
Yeah, he's close to this ball. Is he trying to squeeze him up behind the brown? It's not that hard when you're close. Watch out for the 9 down the table if he misses his mark. Now, he did get the 2 in a good spot. He didn't get the snooker.
Remember, not unlimited time to think about things. It's a 30-second shot clock with one 30-second extension per player per rack. Normally doesn't hinder Shaw, but on this occasion he feels the need to take some more time. So he's burnt his extension early in this rack.
And always a touchy shot from distance, having to roll the ball and not only control the cue ball a bit, but definitely control the object ball. I think he did leave the bottom part though here. Well, maybe not. Thought he could get a little snip of the blue too, which would make a huge difference on this shot. And he went a long ways with the cue ball. And I understand it, and I think he may have overran his mark because he didn't want to leave the jump. He was, you know, you get the feeling, oh, the 2's going to roam over the side, and even if I get the snooker, it's going to be an easy jump for Shaw. So making sure of that. Definitely no cupcake here.
It wasn't clean, but it was badly needed, that.
Yeah, maybe the perfect example of a ball that wouldn't have gone on the outer tables, in my opinion. I think that ball hangs for sure.
So often these matches, especially the lengthier ones, ebb and flow, and I think players accept that, almost anticipate it. He's cocky, isn't he?
It's obvious they both have a lot of mutual fans, but I think the fans, as much as anything, they just want to see as much pull as possible.
It's like those bleacher creatures at Yankee Stadium when they do the roll call. Derek Jeter, Jason Shaw. In he goes, Shaw back in front. Weren't they the same people who were singing Coping Ye a few moments ago? I think they shift allegiances quickly.
From the Philippines. And there's some countries out there besides the Philippines that are like this, but maybe like 50 people right on top of the table while they're playing a huge challenge match of some sort, or even tournament play there in the Philippines at times.
Shaw, it seems, re-energised, but we all know what happened to the penultimate ball. In rack 10, oh, I was going to say the same thing, almost happened there.
Kind of two-stroked it. I know he doesn't stay down on it very long, but that's almost reminded me of the 8-ball, kind of the process he went through, like right there, much more bearing down on that 9. And again, that ball doesn't go on the outer table to round 7.
Jason Shaw styling it out, but I tell you what, he knows he got away with one there.
There's a little known side hustle that I'm doing myself that earns me a very healthy 6-figure year income stream, and not many people know about it. It's not drop shipping, it's not through Shopify, it's not selling food.
solid contact on the three. Definitely by design. You kind of wonder who you like. I always go with the guys that are trending, really, but I pick Ko Ping Chung just because he's so solid. He's always trending, it seems like. It'd be all right by me if Johan Chua took this tournament down with the results and the grind he's been on of late.
Well, it would be all right by me because it would do me the world of good in terms of kudos, prediction kudos. He was my choice.
Oh, nothing wrong with that. He's probably destined to win now anyways, after Phil picked him. Most of them, they're doomed when they get picked by a pundit, but Phil just seems to run lucky.
Yeah, as they say in betting shops and casinos around the world, we could stop a train.
It's that good, clean living.
Now, one good positional shot here, and the hill is looming for Jason Shaw.
Yeah, he's got to command the speed, though. Oh, really good. And it was really nice that the 8 wasn't really any kind of problem. But the thing is, if you look at that 5 ball, that just kind of tells you where he lost focus on those other 2 mistakes. Notice how much longer he was down on the ball when he shot the 5, knowing there was some things that were demanding. Just kind of took the other ones for granted.
Now, that wasn't exactly clean, but there was a reason for that. He wanted to make that particular angle.
Yeah, I think the stretch got him on his accuracy a little bit. I like him keeping it simple, though. He can play short side here or 2 rails across. Yeah, short side, pretty smart.
And this is the virtually identical shot he was practicing with his last shot of his practice rack just before the contest began. Jason Shaw almost, so nearly, into the semi-finals. One more rack needed.
I think he's supposed to shoot. That's just me. All right. Now, I don't know if it was the thinking it over that really caused that miss. What I kind of saw, Phil, you may say different, but I think he inspected the safety the whole time and then just last second decided, oh, let me shoot this in the corner instead of getting the focus.
Yes, and when you're an instinctive player like Jason Shaw, if you do take your time over a shot, you can actually dilute your own rhythm.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me a little bit just the process of, who was it? It was Earl, I think, at the Mosconi in 2022. He had that 5 ball on the side. We all thought he would shoot, and then last second he got down and tried to shoot in the corner and missed it. And of course, it was a difficult shot, but just didn't let the mind get kind of focused, you would say. Really nice shot there and a good decision not to try and work the cue ball too much. He's been the comeback kid, Phil. What do you think?
I would not write him off. No way, no how. Somewhat of an overreaction for what was a routine shot for shape. I was wondering who they were cheering. Well, it's Ko Ping who stays alive. Jason Shaw's lead reduced to 9-7, and of course in the winner breaks format, Ko Ping now gets to break in rack 17.
Yeah, he's playing safe. You can see the aiming point here. Uh-oh. Better say something to it. Better say something to it.
Jason Shaw, pool player, and it seems traffic controller.
Well, I think we'd all love these atmospheres, but maybe no one more than him. Okay, another one that's usually his bread and butter, kind of smoothing this ball in from distance.
Applying a certain amount of power to this. The green 6 has to go in quite cleanly. These middles will not tolerate any inaccuracy. Went in as clean as a whistle. Is the crown of Jason Shaw starting to slip a little? Will the great escape artist, Ko Pin Yi, come back from well behind for the third consecutive match? Doesn't want to rush on the shot, and of course he's taken his extension. Still okay.
Okay, didn't get much draw. He didn't want to flirt with the 9 like awkward cueing. So I think he avoids the 9 in the side here. This is more about 2 rails back and forth for the 9 in the lower right. I think anyways.
I think we're going to see a fitting conclusion to what's been a cracking encounter. All the way with Ko Pin Yi. He was 4-0, 5-1, 6-3, and latterly 9-6 down. He doesn't know how to wave a white flag, certainly not this week.
And Jason just hoping to get to the table, no matter if it's a push out, some type of situation to get that cue in his hand. Right now, he's just like us, a spectator.
Yes, there's no doubt. Ko Pin Yi has momentum. 3 consecutive racks. He's also got the advantage of breaking off. It's a matter of whether he can capitalise. We'll soon find out.
The one's down. I think the cue ball got a friendly kiss there from the blue too to survive staying on the table. It was going to be near the left middle. And Ko Pin Yi has the first chance.
If you recall, it's not as if Jason Shaw has thrown this away at 9-6. He had a decision to make. Play safe on the one or go for that tricky blind cut back to the top right-hand pocket as we're looking. He took on the big ball, overcut it, and ever since his rhythm and his control of this match has ebbed away.
Yeah, it was at 9-7. There were some safety battles, some kicking and returns, some curve shots, a couple jumps. Seems like it had it all, but now just a draw stroke away from getting in position, kind of stealing this match. Now he's just perfect to stun out to the middle. Everything plays, Phil. It's really in his hands.
2015 was Copenhagen's banner year. World 9-ball champion. Part of the World Cup winning duo with Chang Yulong, Billiards Digest Player of the Year. That was almost a decade ago, but he remains very much in the upper echelon. And when it comes to tenacity, he's right there with the very best.
Yeah, certainly another one of those players that know how to close. Everyone can have problems here and there, but when he sees that finish line, he seems to get stronger. I like him playing short side here. I hate to force the 4 to get to the 5 on the short pocket and then have some problem with the brown 7. Kind of like trying to move the cue ball from the 5 to the 6. So I think this lays pretty natural and go with your gut. I think his gut told him short side on the 5. Now he stunned it and hit it really well.
All right, can we get the gun? Wait, Jit, why are we even going for the gun? Yeah, let's get the troops, and then get the gun afterwards. There we go. Now we're cooking with some heat. Can we get this helicopter? We cannot get.
It appears as though Jason Shaw's reign as the Hanoi Open champion is drawing to a close.
Yeah, he wants to get the speed right here, though. He doesn't want to be. Oh, this is perfect. This is absolutely perfect. He can just pull the ball up freely up the left side. Doesn't have to worry about too much angle. Doesn't have to worry about falling on the rail on the 7. The angle on the 6 will not allow that. Yeah, that's pretty good. Maybe a little bit of a stretch for the right-hander. Now, does he pull this? It may be a little thin. He may have to float this just a touch.
The 7 was on the brink of the pocket, and now Jason Shaw sitting there on the brink of defeat.
It still shows you got to finish it. They're not going to give it to you. And Copenhagen's going to give us a fist pump here.
Last year, he won the World Masters. Tonight, in the Vietnamese capital, he has mastered the defending champion, Peri from Chinese Taipei.